Welcome to Here to Help with Finance. Welcome back to our podcast, and thank you very much for everyone who's been listening over the weeks and months, and for all your comments. As you know, we tried to diversify and bring in a lot of people with a lot of people's knowledge from different sectors. And what I wanted to do, obviously, it's very easy for me to talk about mortgages, the buy-to-let market, the commercials, and all those type of things. But as you've seen from our other podcasts, what we try to do is bring in different aspects of a journey of a portfolio landlord or people who are investing and want to see in the long term. So what I've done is gone on a slight tangent and delighted to bring on board for our conversation David Assor from Grosvenor Wealth Management. And we can discuss through the podcast exactly why we've brought you on to actually see where the synergies lie, and also what people should be looking at in the short, medium, and obviously long term. So without further ado, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it, David. Please tell me a bit about Grosvenor Wealth Management.
Thanks, Mayan. Thanks for inviting me on. Nice to be with all your podcast listeners, viewers. My name is David Assor. I've been in financial services for probably over 30 years now, and I'm now a financial advisor, wealth manager with Grosvenor Wealth Management. Grosvenor have been around for 24 years now. We're a London firm, but we also have a base out in leafy Hertfordshire. We're here in Harpenden. I travel to and from Harpenden several days a week. I'm also in London. We are independent financial advisors. That means we're not tied to any particular product or particular provider. We advise across the whole spectrum of investments, pensions, and in particular what we're going to talk about today, protecting you, your family, your income, your livelihood, and also protecting you against what may or may not happen in the future.
Perfect. Okay, well, that actually really is a great way to dovetail into my question, because obviously we have clients who are building portfolios, might have just started, and some clients have huge portfolios.
Yeah.
When should somebody actually start thinking about, well, obviously everyone should think about the future, but working with yourselves to see exactly what they should do? When is a critical point?
Okay, very easily, we talk about protection and the ways you can protect yourself. It's really when you've got something to protect, and really it's never too early. And I think this will be a theme of what I'm going to talk about today, which is as soon as you've got something to protect, whether it's your income, it's your portfolio, it's your family, it's the future, your future retirement. Whenever you've got something you need to protect, that's the time you need to be thinking about how to go about protecting it. Okay. So it's as soon as you need to, and perhaps I can explain why it makes sense to do so relatively early.
Yeah,
the reason I think the main reason there is that hopefully we're all a long time earning and providing for our families and building a portfolio, building up our wealth. We're all wealth earners, but sometimes that tap can be turned off. Sometimes you can't build any more wealth for various reasons. It may be due to ill health. It may be, God forbid, if you pass away, and it may be because for a certain period of time, you're just unable to work. And we're here to help in those times. We're here to help provide solutions that protect you and your family.
Okay, so on the back of that, I'm going to break it down a few bits to that. So as soon as somebody has an asset, as you say, worth protecting, would you say then a single person with an asset should start thinking about it, or is that too early?
No, it's not too early for a number of reasons. First of all, that asset, whether it is your income stream, you want that to continue, whether you're fit and able to work, or if in the event of you take ill, you want to be able to have the guarantees and the security in place to know that you can take time to get back on your feet if you've suffered an illness. So we have a number of clients where, unfortunately, they've taken ill. And we can see this from some statistics, which I will bring into the conversation, that suggest that it's not uncommon for people with mental or physical illnesses may have to take a certain amount of time off work. Now, the firm they work for may provide some short-term, long-term sickness, but it may not be long enough for them to get back on their feet. If they're portfolio managers, of course, their portfolio may be providing an income, but their expertise may be part and parcel of how they are successful business people. And they may want to employ somebody to replace them, to manage their portfolio. And that all costs money. So it is all about being able to replace your income as much as it's able to replace your car. When your car breaks down or your car is no longer suitable or you've had an accident, you insure your car, albeit it's a requirement by law, but you want to make sure you have a car in place if something should go wrong. You do the same with your household contents. You do the same with your buildings. Why not your income? Why not your assets? Why not your mortgage? Make sure you can pay off your mortgages.
Okay, I've got a few questions on that. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So I assume it's not geared for people who are solely employed, as in the work for companies. You can get principals who also should take this kind of advice.
Yeah, very much so. And employees as well. Hopefully, they do get some form of protection through their workplace. Most reasonable, benevolent employers will give that sort of benefit, but it may not be enough. And again, it's quite crucial that everybody understands the statistics that sit behind some of the decisions we make. If now's the right time to bring that in, I think it's quite important. People should understand some of that.
Yeah, we will. If you just hold fire for a sec, because on the same vein of what you just said, so we've gone to explore when it is an opportune time, and I assume obviously the premiums for younger people logically sounds that it would be cheaper. So on the flip side of that, we have a number of clients that have significant portfolios, well-established companies, and they are, they have a very profitable business, but they haven't got anything in place for that. Now, so we know when is too young. When is too young? Well, there's no such thing as we see, but when is too old?
Okay, a very important question, particularly as I'm sure you appreciate. Again, unfortunately, as we get older, we become more unhealthy. So there is a trade-off between insuring yourself against any eventuality, any unfortunate circumstances, and the fact that the older you get, the chances of you unfortunately passing away or you becoming ill become greater. And so you have to weigh the cost of the premiums. The premiums will rise exponentially, the cost with the benefit of obviously insuring yourself. But also, if you've built up a very large portfolio, what is your legacy? What is it you're going to pass on to your children and grandchildren? And also, who's going to run that business for their benefit and for the benefit of your other employees? We are our own biggest asset. As much as our income is important, as our portfolio is important, we are the people as individuals who've brought all of that together. If we're not there, the next day, the following days and weeks and months, who is going to manage that portfolio? Who is actually going to bring it to fruition for the benefit of the family, for the benefit of the business, for the legacy, for the people it's going to be passed on to? And I think it's, yes, if we're in a fortunate position to be able to walk away from a business, secure in the knowledge that we can, we've created an income stream for ourselves in retirement, you can't do that overnight. A portfolio is relatively illiquid. So you're always going to need somebody to manage the transition between the illiquidity and potentially liquidating some or all of that portfolio for the benefit of future generations. And that comes at a cost if you don't insure yourself against what we call key person protection, protecting those key individuals, the business owners, the business managers, those people who are driving the business to deliver.
Okay, well, that is very informative and answered a big section of my question. So blind me with science and some of the statistics you have to really understand exactly where we are at the moment.
Again, and I think it's important to understand in the context of this discussion, thankfully, in the UK and beyond, there are we have a fantastic National Health Service, and we have fantastic provision to help people who are unwell, and recovery rates from illnesses are improving all the time. But if you're a 25-year-old with 40 years of work ahead of you, there is a 1 in 2 chance, almost a 1 in 2 chance, that at some point in your career, you are going to have a period where you are unable to work due to illness, due to ill health of yourself or your family, or you will suffer a critical illness. Critical illness for this purpose could be a stroke, a heart attack, a diagnosis of cancer, and other certain events, which unfortunately occur much more frequently than they have done in the past. Or finally, unfortunately, you may pass away. And all 3 of those events will happen to 1 in 2 individuals in their lifetime, in their working lifetime. And that's really the only stat that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, it's not a conversation for a party, but I get it.
No, absolutely not.
I get it, and I understand the importance of it. You did touch upon this, because I've had a number of clients that obviously that we work with, but some have had pushback or said, actually, I've got a significant portfolio. If anything to happen to me, you know what? I've got X million in assets. My family will be absolutely protected. I don't want to waste a premium on a policy when I've got the assets which will actually fund the lifestyle that my family have become accustomed to. So you touched upon that, and I think I know the answer, but it may as well raise it to the forefront now again.
Like I said before, I think it is about protecting the legacy, and it's about protecting your family. The wider family is really important in the community. And I think the idea of us, continuing on our merry way, working to the level we've always worked at, to be able to deliver for our family, it's a fantastic achievement for all of those portfolio holders. I just feel that there is an element sometimes that is forgotten, that perhaps potentially, we're not quite as, indestructible as we first thought we were. And the time may come that individuals want to pass on that legacy. They want to manage a transition, but they want to do it in their own time. They want to do it at a time that is suitable for them. But sometimes that's taken out of their hands, unfortunately, due to ill health, or due to the inability to work, or due to passing away unexpectedly early. And again, it is about managing that portfolio in a way that continues the legacy of the individual who's built that portfolio. And you just don't want those decisions taken out of your hands. You don't want those decisions made by somebody who is unfamiliar with the business, who cannot deliver it in the same way as that principal wanted to deliver it.
Oh, excellent. I think we've had a whistle-stop tour of understanding exactly what you do and the benefits to an individual or company, possibly, to take that on. I assume it's not a simple policy now that just you let run and run. You review, you assess, and you monitor.
Absolutely. There are very different elements to a policy that we can build in, and that we will typically, you will review at least every 5 years, if not more frequently. The idea is to set a level of cover that is suitable for an individual, but also stretches out beyond retirement into pension age. Remember, when you earn an income, you're not just earning to put food on the table today. You're earning to put food on the table when you are no longer able to work or you want to retire. And so at the same time as you might be putting money aside for your retirement, if that income ceases, so does your retirement provision. So does the provision for paying an inheritance tax bill when the time comes and you've successfully built up a portfolio that requires your beneficiaries to pay inheritance tax. What happens then? How are they going to pay that bill from a bunch of properties which, unfortunately, you don't want to sell? You want to continue to gain some income from them. This could be a process by which you manage your legacy to your beneficiaries. Okay. So, yeah, just to reiterate, it isn't about just the here and now. It's about the money you've borrowed in the past, protecting payments against that. It's about the lifestyle you're living now, and it's about the legacy to your family.
Fantastic. What an insight. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
As mentioned on all the podcasts, please do not construe any of the things that we've discussed on the podcast as advice. Thank you very much for your time. David Assor from Grosvenor Wealth Management. Appreciate it and wish you well.
Thank you, Mayor.